Hey guys, it's Kojak here. Doing something a little bit different for you today. Normally I just do beer kit reviews or my Homebrew Wednesday updates, but had a couple of requests now for people for some winemaking videos. So yeah, this is for you guys who've requested them. I'm going to do today is I've bought myself a 30 bottle red wine kit, and I'm going to make it up for you guys today just to show you what it do. Obviously once it's fermented, I'll then show you, the clearing stage and the bottling process as well later on. So without further ado, I'll give you a bit of a rundown on the actual kit I'm making and sort of what the packs contain. So here is the kit I'm going to be making up today. It's a Beaverdale Cabernet Sauvignon, designed to make 30 bottles. So if I open up the kit, I'll show you what you get inside with these things. So this is your 7 litres of grape juice, which is all in a little pouch there, which you could always rinse out and reuse to store the wine later on if you wanted to. Obviously you wouldn't fit it all in there, but you could get some in there. And you get this little pack instructions, which I don't really need because I've made that enough times now. Get oak chips, which you chuck in there for some flavour. Gives you that sort of oak matured taste, because obviously years ago they used to keep the wine in oak barrels. Got your yeast, special red wine yeast there. Got, I'm not going to say how to pronounce that, but this is your one part of your finings, and this is chitosan, which is the second part of the fining. So you do these when you're clearing the wine a bit later on once it's fermented. The last thing is stabiliser. Now what this does is it stops the wine from fermenting any further. Now the reason you want to do that is because otherwise it could still continue to ferment from some of the leftover sugars in the wine, and that could then result in your bottles exploding, which you don't really want. So there we go. That's the kit. Let's show you how to brew it. Right, so that's the kit explanation over and done with. I've got my already sanitised fermenting bin here. I know a lot of you guys use carboys. I've only got one carboy, and I find it's a bit safer adding hot liquids into this one. It's a bit stronger, and it's also easy just to give it a good old stir rather than picking up a heavy carboy and shaking it around. What I'll do, once it's finished primary fermentation, I will then put it into my carboy for secondary fermentation. So yeah, here we go. So the first thing you need to do is to, this is already a pre-sanitised fermenting bin here. Take the lid off, sanitised stirrer as well. I'll just pop that on top of the sanitised lid. First thing I need to do then is empty out the contents. Now, these things are heavy, as you can probably imagine. So, you normally have to use something to prise the cap off with. I tend to use a little knife. So, now I've got the lid off, let's empty the contents into the fermenter. Now, you have to be careful with this because this stuff will stain very easily, so I'll probably put the fermenting bin on the floor and do it that way, just to make things a little bit easier. I've added the main contents of the bag now to the fermenter, but what I want to do is just rinse out, there's a bit of dregs in there, and just rinse out with a bit of water, just to then empty that in there as well. So I'll do that now quickly. A bit of a rinse round. Pop that in there. And I think we'll go once more just for luck. So now what I need to do is add some boiling water just to get the temperature up, so I'm going to do that now. So having done this previously, I know I need to add about 2 litres of hot water to get to the desired temperature, so I'm going to add about 1.5 litres at the moment. While that's boiling again, I'll give it a good old stir. Just do a quick temperature check to make sure we're on the right track. It's my sanitised thermometer. Put that in there. Right, so that's just over 30 degrees at the moment, so as you know it's too warm. We need it about 20. If it's too hot it'll kill the yeast, if it's too low the yeast won't react. So I'm now going to need to add some more cold water and some more hot water. So I'll start adding the cold water. I tend to do this using plastic jugs, so I'll cut to having filled it up a bit more. So now what you need to do is basically fill it up to the 5 gallon mark, which is here. And that's it. Now we just give this another good stir just to make sure all the grape juice and the water is all mixed together evenly. Now you don't want to be too aggressive with your stirring because you'll spill it all over the top, so just be quite gentle but firm. Or should I say slow but firm. And now it's time to do the temperature check first of all. Now that's at 22 degrees centigrade, which is pretty spot on, to be honest, which is good. So now it's time to take a gravity reading. So we'll just scoop a little bit out of the fermenter. Sanitised jug, of course. Okay. Sanitised hydrometer. Put that in there. Give it a little spin. Don't know if you guys can see it down here, but I'll let you know what the reading is. Okay. Now it's a bit difficult to read the hydrometer because all the foam in there, but I'm guessing it's about 1.078, which according to the instructions should be between 1075 and 1082, so that's about right really. So I'll make a note of that now, because as you know, obviously when we do the final gravity reading at the end we'll work out our how alcoholic the wine is. So 108, 1078. Okay, so I'll put that to one side. So I'll just put this back in the fermenter because it's all been sanitised, so it's fine. Okay. So now what to do? Add the oak chips. So before, this just gives it an oaky sort of, makes it taste like it's sort of been matured in oak vats. So show what it look like. Very, very fine little chips in there. So pop them in. Now they say you should have done it at the start of fermentation, so I'll add these in, then I'll add the yeast. Again, be quite gentle because the fermenter's quite full at this point, so you don't want to send your red wine everywhere. And these oak chippings are so fine that they tend to just disappear when they've been fermented. You don't really get a big oaky residue at the bottom. So, the last thing we need to do now is stick the yeast in. So here we go. Now, just sprinkle this, try and get it fairly evenly over the surface. There we go. And then, you guessed it, give it another stir. And there you have it. What I'm going to do now, just cover it, put the lid on obviously, cover it with a t-shirt, sometimes do that just to help keep the heat in, and yeah, let this ferment for about a week, and then I'll check back and let you know how it's going. I might just do a quick update video later in the week just to let you know how it's fermenting. So there you go. Hope that was informative to you guys that wanted to see it. You know, any questions, just give me a shout. Just put you know, add some comments at the bottom, and I'll catch up with you on Wednesday. Cheers guys, take care.